Thank you for joining us for another episode of Adventures in Fly Time. I'm Joe Cornwall, your host. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 6.
Summertime is caddis time, and if you're fishing for trout, there's not a better time of the year to be out on the water. This is the Elk Hair and CDC Caddis. I also call this the Mad River Caddis because it's designed just for the Mad River. This is a fabulous pattern. Whenever you're fishing clear water that has really slow currents, the fish can really take a good look at it. This is a fly that fishes in the surface film, much like an emerger. I rarely miss a fish that's rising on this one. Usually size 16, sometimes 18. This is also a great fly for panfish and trout everywhere. Let's tie one. This is a fantastic pattern. I'm going to use a Mustad 94-840 standard dry fly hook in size 16, which is about the smallest we can actually tie it and still show it to you on video. And that's my favorite fly size to actually fish. I'm using an 8/0 black thread. I'm going to start the thread right behind the hook eye and lay a solid foundation of thread to a point directly above the barb of the hook. Cut off that tag end. Now, the body on this fly is dubbed, and you can use a lot of different colors. Most of the caddis we tend to see are olive. I'm going to use an Antron dubbing in olive. Very, very simple. You could also use this in an orange, or in a gold, or a tan, or even in a black if you don't have a black caddis. Just take a little bit of that Antron dubbing that you see there, and spin that onto your thread. And because this has got such a long fiber size, you don't need any kind of wax or anything like that. Once you catch the ends of that Antron dubbing, it'll actually form its own little rope. You can wind back and forth, get a really nice, slightly shiny body of that olive Antron dubbing. And I'm going to stop that body probably a solid hook eye away from the front of the fly. Take that excess material out. Be careful not to cut your thread when you do that. Of course, if you do, you're really tying flies, because if you're not cutting thread, you're not trying hard enough. The next material we're going to use is a CDC oiler feather, or a preen feather. CDC, of course, called the canard, or bottom of the duck, also known as the duck's arse. But believe it or not, this doesn't come from the bottom of the duck. It comes from the top of the tail near the preen gland. This is what makes this fly float. You'll notice with a standard Elk Hair Caddis would have a hackle. We're not going to have that here. That's kind of important on the Mad River, where the fish tend to not want to be on the water, but slightly under the water. This one floats in the surface film. Take those oiler plumes, sweep them all back, measure that wing so it's about the right length, just about the length of the body. Take a loose pinch wrap, 1 or 2 wraps to hold that on. That little underbody of CDC will actually float the fly, because all of those little CDC plumes trap air and make that fly float like a cork. Now I'll build up a little bit of a thread head there, because I'm actually going to finish this fly on the outside of the next step, which is elk hair. I'm going to take a little bit of this elk hair, trim it off, and stack it. I've already done that in my stacker. Now what I'll do, pulling it out of the stacker, the tip's evened up, I'll just lay that over the top of the fly, get to the right length, take that loose pinch wrap over the top of that fly, and take 1, 2, 3 tight wraps to hold that in. You'll see that that wing will lay down just beautifully now. Now I'm going to actually whip finish right over the top of this. I love tying flies that I don't mind losing. I love tying flies that fish can tear into little pieces for me, that don't take me a half an hour. And this is a fantastic dry fly that, as you can see, only takes seconds. Trim that head back to make a little bit of a squared off head, and that, my friends, is the Mad River CDC Caddis fly. This is a great searching pattern all summer long. That'll work just wonderfully. Floats like a cork, lays down on the surface, almost an emerger. You can use this one from May all the way through October, because man, that thing will fish. Thanks for joining us for another Adventures in Fly Time. Join us on the web at www.flyfishohio.com. Tight lines.